What's up, guys? Today I want to go over the last 3 Brave weapons I haven't made a review on yet that I wanted to. All these I'll be using a lot in the final shape. Before we get into that, a quick word from today's video sponsor. This video was sponsored by Factor. Final shape is around the corner, and I know we will all be gaming non-stop, but that doesn't change the fact that we all need to eat multiple times a day, and that is why I've used Factor over the years. Instead of spending what free time you have prepping, cooking, and cleaning, you can have a fresh, never frozen meal ready in just 2 minutes. No need to go to the grocery store, come up with new recipes. You can choose from 35 meal options each week that come straight to your door, fit for any diet. If you can't commit long term, no problem. Choose between 4 to 18 meals a week, or even skip deliveries when needed. Factor also offers 60 plus add-ons every week, things like breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks, and even beverages. Compared to the rising cost of groceries and takeout, Factor is a great value that has become a staple in my life. And yes, not only is the food healthy, it tastes good, like really, really good. If you're ready to remove stress from your life, you can get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders using my link. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on your phone. Thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video. So the 3 weapons we're going to be talking about today are going to be Luna's Howl, the Forbearance, and Edge Transit. So starting off with the Luna's Howl, I think this is the perfect hand cannon in a lot of different situations. And that is because it not only has incandescent in the right, which is one of the best primary perks in the game. I used to think it was Bolt Shot for the longest time, but that kind of got nerfed here and there. And in my opinion, incandescent is back on the top, and this is on a really solid filling 140 RPM hand cannon, which just absolutely dominate the meta right now. And pairing that in the left column, we have Hill Clip, really allows this thing to scale into the end game really well, where reloading after getting a final blow will give you cure ×2 and cure ×1 to nearby allies, basically giving you your full health back and giving a decent chunk to all of your allies nearby. And this is by far the god roll on this weapon. And I was using this a lot during Pantheon week 2 and week 3, and it really came in clutch a lot. Hand cannons in general just feel so strong. You don't really need a damage perk at all to make them feel really strong. And incandescent just scales really well in harder content, especially when you're playing a sword subclass. And Hill Clip saved my life so many times in Pantheon, in particular in the planet encounter. I'm usually running the planets for the top section, where you kind of have to cross like right in the middle of everything in the room, and I would just get a kill along the way or before leaving, and as I'd get low, I would just reload and bam, back to full health. I mean, this perk is so good at hard content, and just overall pairing it with incandescent is just like the perfect hand cannon. The one thing about this roll is you have no built-in reload perks, so I would definitely try to get flared mag well or like mag, and preferably a reload speed masterwork, but obviously you can't necessarily get those zines. We can definitely make it work. And outside of those 2 perks, the only other ones kind of worth talking about is in the left, you could use Subsistence instead. I think that'd be better for like lower tier content. Then in the right, we have the OG perk, which is a 50% buff now. But the thing about this perk is it works in kind of a weird way where I'm not really sure where it's useful. So if you don't know how the perk works, every single time you get a precision final blow, you'll get 1 stack of the buff. Then once you reload, it'll convert those stacks into the damage buff. So let's say in your mag, you get 3 precision kills. You reload, you'll have 3 stacks of the buff. And the first 3 bullets you shoot will be 50% buff. But every single time you get a precision final blow with those stacks, it will refund it. So in theory, as long as you have 1 stack and keep getting precision final blow, you can make that stack last forever. So the way this perk is kind of set up is you need to get final blows over and over again to not only proc the perk, but then to sustain it. So in a way, it's kind of geared towards easier content where it's going to be a lot easier to manage this perk. But in that type of content where you can easily get one-shot kills, you don't really need a 50% buff. So it's kind of like a paradox where this perk excels, you don't need it, which kind of makes it hard to really see where this could be useful. I think there is like a very thin line of where there's stuff in the game where you can't one-hit it, but then with this perk you will be able to one-hit it, and that would be like the exact thin line of where this perk would be really good. But I think in a lot of content you'll be able to one-hit with or without the perk, or you won't be able to with or without the perk. So it's either going to be overkill and not necessary, or you won't be able to actually really get uptime on the perk anyways. So you have to really find that thin margin in between those 2 situations. So in the right content, this could be a really good perk. But I just think it's kind of designed in a way where it doesn't really make too much sense to use this in a lot of content. But overall, one of the greatest things about the Luna Howl is, in a way, it's kind of filling that legendary slot for the Sunshot. So in all situations, you want to use one of the great top slot exotic specials or an exotic heavy. This is just the perfect weapon to use. And I think I'll use this a lot during the day 1 raid for Final Shape, pairing it with things like Whisper or even the Conditional Finality. Then moving on to the 2 other weapons I want to talk about in this video. I'm sneaking these into just this one video because they're kind of straightforward. The Forbearance, if you already have one crafted, you already have the Ambitious and the Chain Reaction roll, and that is still obviously what I would recommend if you don't have that. But the other roll that is unique on this version is going to be Demo plus Chain Reaction, and for me this is definitely worth getting even if you already have the crafted one, just because I love Demo, and pairing that with a Chain Reaction wave frame is obviously amazing. Definitely must have for me, not necessarily for you, depending on your playstyle and if you like builds. Another role you could go for is Demo Wellspring. I think I'm going to be nerfing Chain Reaction at some point, and that could be a decent role instead, and all about ability spam. And finally, with the Edge Transit, once again, pretty straightforward for the God roll. You want Bait and Switch in the right with Spike Grenades. Then in left column, there's going to be 4 different perks. I think the best all around, just kind of brain dead, good for everything, is going to be Envious Assassin. Then if you want to use this for different swap combos and you're like a more advanced DPS player, you probably already know what to do, but obviously you can use Cascade instead. This will be really good where you're going to be shooting off like sniper shots and stuff like that. And if you have things to auto reload the weapons, so marksman dodge or whatever it is, to avoid having to reload, this will obviously be better. But if you're a player that doesn't necessarily do all of those fancier combo swap things, just stick with Envious. It'll be very good also. Then finally, the other 2 worth talking about is Field Prep. Field Prep will just give you more total damage output, and then also auto loading for different combos once again. But at the same time, Envious is kind of built in auto loading already and a bigger mag size. So in most situations where auto loading seems like it'd be a good option, Envious is just kind of the same thing already, but better. So once again, just go with Envious. But if you're just getting one roll, it'd definitely be Envious plus Bait and Switch. Secondary roll would be Cascade and Bait and Switch. Then the other 2 is, if you kind of get them along the way, definitely keep them, but they're not that big of a deal if you don't get them. And if you're living on a rock, GLs are among the best DPS in the entire game. We're up there with a lot of rocket combos, and just all around very easy to use. And not only good for boss DPS, they're just really good weapons in general. Pairs with a Mountaintop and a Sunshot or a God of Tom Lance, and you just have a really solid weapon loadout. I can really do everything you need to do. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for the last 3 Brave weapons. I think I covered all the ones I want to. And this will be the last video until probably early June, maybe late May. Basically that week before Final Shape comes out. I definitely plan on uploading quite a bit going into Final Shape, and obviously once it comes out, a lot. And hopefully from there, kind of back to full-time, part-time for the foreseeable future. Anyways, like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.